Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into what definitely is not a victory Monday. It is a debacle, bitch and moan Monday after the Bucs absolutely implode and lose in overtime to a dreadful Cleveland team and score 17 points against a defense that was ranked 30th in the league in scoring defense. This is an ineptitude on an offensive football team unrivaled maybe in the history of the NFL, and you're doing it with the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, a group of receivers that would be most of them, two of them at least, that are going to the Hall of Fame. One that's certainly in the twilight of his career, but Mike Evans is not. And another one in Chris Godwin that's been a Pro Bowler. It is a failure of a coaching staff unlike I have ever seen in covering any level of football, and that includes Pee Wee in high school. Is that strong enough? Nick Geddes, as I say, good morning to you from outsider.com.
I think you hit the point on the head there. Yeah, I really do.
There were coaching mistakes yesterday that literally I have not seen in Pee Wee football. And for professional coaches to be making this kind of money and putting that product out, and it's not a one-game basis. And we are going to go through this, the coaching mishaps, and the numbers are just off the charts, folks. Sometimes numbers can lie, but in this case, they don't. I mean, there are numbers that are just crazy. I think my favorite one is this, because it goes to the management of this game. Tom Brady was 218-0 when leading by 17 points. Or sorry, 7 points with 2 minutes to go.
Yep.
218-0. He's 218-1. It's laughable. It is laughable because you can't have a quarterback like this, the greatest comeback quarterback. This is, you know what they used to say, who's the only person that can hold Michael Jordan under 20 points? It was Dean Smith. The only person that can stop Tom Brady from winning a game in that situation is Todd Bowles. How do you short circuit your Hall of Fame quarterback, the greatest comeback quarterback in the history of the game, and you don't have the basic understanding of when to call a timeout and when not to call a timeout? Not calling a timeout when the other team is 4th and 10, when you can preserve a minute. Okay, you have to say to yourself, what if they score here? What's the next thing? Okay, well, we want 1 minute and 7 left as opposed to 32 seconds left for Tom Brady to go down the field and answer. And in this case, win the game in overtime? Duh. Like, duh. Or punting the ball 4th and 2 at the 37 of the Cleveland Browns when you have Tom freaking Brady? 4th and 2 from their 37? What is this, 1975 when it was mandatory to punt on 4th down? Are you kidding me? I didn't even know there's a website like this. It's called the Surrender Index on Punts, and it tracks analytically like what are the worst punts of all time. And this one was ranked in the 98th percentile as the most cowardly punt of all time. And then Jonathan Vilma, the great Jonathan Vilma, who I'm pretty sure really doesn't understand football, says, oh, no, this is about having a great defense. His defense is clicking. So you want to, you just want to punt the ball and just give it to your defense. What? If you have that much confidence in your defense, you let the greatest quarterback in the history of the game try 4th and 2 and get up 2 scores and end the game. I mean, what are you talking about? You're going to punt the ball for 17. You're going to give up a possession for 17 yards, which, by the way, they made up in one play. I mean, it's the most cowardly call ever. And then no timeout there. And then when you get the ball back after the first play, you call timeout. And then after the play to Julio Jones, now you're at the 48-yard line, and you would have 20 seconds instead of 8 seconds, at least 20 seconds to go 15 yards with 2 timeouts, being able to use the whole field. Chances of Tom Brady getting that done?
Hey.
Well, if we send Byron Leftwich to the locker room, take his headset off, chances of that happening are 100%.
Refresh my memory.
Even with Leftwich with a headset on, your chances are probably 95%. But just, take the 5, get him out.
Yeah. Refresh my memory too, by the way. Was it 3 weeks ago that the Buccaneers had 44 seconds left on the clock?
Yeah.
And they took over from the Rams, or their own 40-yard line rather, with just, I believe, 1 timeout, not 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
We're talking 1 timeout with Tom Brady, and went down the fields in 7 plays in 34 seconds and scored the game-winning score. Did that happen 3 weeks ago? Or am I missing? It's been a while since the Bucs have played, but is it hard to remember for everybody?
And I can't remember what this Brady guy's done in comebacks.
I don't know.
Does he really
I don't know.
Does he really have a resume or a record in that regard at all?
No.
I mean, who's that guy? What? I mean, how's that gonna happen? Against the defense like this.
There's so much that went wrong yesterday. I really don't know where to begin. All I can sum it up is it's an archaic thought process with this coaching staff. It's archaic schemes offensively for sure. An archaic way of thinking. This is a head coach who was hired because he's a friend of the former head coach. This is an offensive coordinator who was hired because he's a friend. Was there an
exhaustive search done to find the new head coach?
I don't think there was. This was one and done right here.
Well, at least he had a great head coaching resume from his
at least we got that. At least we got that.
Well, it's not like he had a bunch of issues with clock management and
no.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get into all this. By the way, we're going to get into the FSU UF game, which I was at on Friday night, and what a game! What an emotional win for Florida State. And, I had a little Twitter beef with my good friend Zach Blobner at the other station where he was, so disgusted that FSU fans charged the field after the Gators lost. Not that it's complete sour grapes, my friend. And I love Zach. But, yeah, we went down on the field afterwards. Why not? Because we could. Why not? And
I saw it. You thought you were Charlie Ward, 1993 out there.
I did.
I saw it.
I had to, did you see the balance?
I did.
The ball placement, how good that was?
I did.
Yeah, I've performed on that field before. That's another story. Listen, that was an emotional win for FSU after 8 years of darkness or 5 years of darkness, whatever it's been. You beat your rival in a game where they came back and made unbelievable. That's tip of the cap to the Gators, by the way. They fought their ass off, and so did FSU. FSU showed heart. They showed grit. They showed incredible skill. I mean, that was a great win, an emotional win on so many levels. What a roller coaster that game was. The 4th and 18, they got called the pass interference, which I thought was complete BS. Yes, they miss a face mask at the end. Those SEC refs were complete garbage in that game, complete freaking garbage. But we'll get into that. Tom Block's going to join us at 11:15, FSU sideline reporter. We're going to talk about, will Jordan Travis be coming back? Who might be coming back? We're going to tell you, were at the UCF-USF game. What an incredible game that was.
I think that took years off my life.
It took a
little bit.
I mean, try to describe what that was like before we go. We're going to go back to the Bucs, but we're just giving you a little flavor of everything we're going to get.
All I know is it was 28-0, and I thought I was going to split
I turned it off.
I thought I was going to split at halftime. I said, hey, we're going to be up 42-0 here at halftime, and we're going to leave, right?
Yeah, sure.
No, it turned into a very long night, and it turned into, though, one of the best atmospheres that stadium, I think, has had in years.
Yeah.
So if you need a silver lining, I think that's what it was.
Made a little juice, and even USF at the end of the game didn't want somebody to plant a flag on their field. Showed a little chutzpah.
No, even though the flag was 100% true with what it said, but
which you can go ahead and say it, UCF, man.
We're Tampa's hometown team too. Thank you for the.
They brought more fans than USF did.
Brought more fans than USF did. I can't argue it. I'm just saying.
It's so hard to get to that stadium, for the USF students to get there, But it's not so hard for UCF students to get there. They found a way.
We found a way.
They found a way to fill up the lower bowl, something USF couldn't do ever. So, not trying to be rude to USF, but your fans are, and why go to the games? I get it. I mean, it's been so bad. There's culpability everywhere. But you know what? Just a glimmer of hope with Byron Brown, who will probably go into the transfer portal and leave USF. But there's just a glimmer of hope, and maybe who knows who the next coach is. I don't think it's Deion Sanders, as was the erroneous report this weekend. But I don't know. Deion Sanders has been offered the Colorado job. He hasn't taken it. I doubt he will. I don't know if he's been offered the USF job. I doubt he would take it anyway. There's scuttlebutt out there that Michael Kelly, who I saw at Thanksgiving, by the way, he was looking rather dapper at Paul Macias. It was nice to see Michael. Wish him a happy Thanksgiving, but we didn't talk about the coaching search. That would have been rude of me on Thanksgiving to do so. But he's got to come up with a big name, and may it be Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina. There's some scuttlebutt that might be out there. I don't know why he would take that job, because I think he's in line for a really good Power 5 opening, given what he's done at Coastal Carolina. Not trying to be rude to USF, but it's good that they're trying to get him. I mean, that's good. We saw Willie Fritz went to Georgia Tech, so we'll get into college football as well. Lots to get into there as well. But we're gonna zero in on the Bucs right here. All right. So first and foremost, this is a complete meltdown of a coaching staff. I mean, this is on so many levels, everything that we just mentioned. But here's another stat that is unbelievable. And you are turning me on to this one as well. The only teams that have scored 23 or more points one time, and only one time this year, are the Broncos, right? The Broncos, the Texans, and now the Bucs.
Yep.
Who's the Texans quarterback?
Yesterday it was Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'd say who the Broncos quarterback is, Russell Wilson.
Danger boy.
Danger, yeah, but that's not going well.
No.
It's
not.
And that is a complete failure of a coaching staff, by the way.
Yes.
Nathaniel Hackett has zero clue of what he's doing, much like what's going on with the Buccaneers. I mean, it's just when you have this kind of talent.
Oh, and by the way, the only time the Bucs scored 23 plus was against the Chiefs, when it was like 28-3 or 28-7 at one point.
Most of it was garbage time.
Most garbage time.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yeah. But they've played some really good defenses. Like the Browns were ranked 30th in scoring defense.
Sure.
The Steelers had their entire
Steel
secondary
curtain
out. Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah. That's a tough
Tough
defense.
team.
Yeah,
tough team to play.
Panthers. Oh, we want to talk about
See what they did yesterday?
Scrappy defense.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, that's really. I mean, it's unbelievable. And here's the thing about the offensive rankings and things like that. You watched yesterday, Kevin Stefanski. The Bucs were clearly outmanned against Chubb, right?
Yes.
And so they ran this counterplay where Tryon is on defensive right. Akeem Hicks, who was, I mean, if you could not see that Akeem Hicks was out of gas in the third quarter, Nacho's playing his ass off. But you keep throwing Akeem Hicks out there, who played well at times, but is clearly from that injury not in great football shape. The last 3 drives he was out there for, I could have put forth more effort. And I know he's gassed, whatever, but the coaching staff has to see that. If my dumb ass can see it, you should see this. So the defensive tackle just gets washed down by the offensive tackle. Tryon is going so far outside, you're opening up a natural hole, okay? And then you're running a tight end and a guard through the middle who's sealing. And you've got such a light group of guys there. You've got Devin White's getting caught up inside on that Chubb run that set up the winning touchdown. I mean, but you could see, okay, there's a weakness for the Buccaneers. We're going to attack them this way with our big offensive line. That's an offensive coordinator seeing a weakness and attacking it time and time again. Show me where Byron Leftwich ever does that. Ever where you see, oh, that's a good matchup. Oh, Mike Evans on MJ Emerson. That's a great matchup, right, for us. One-on-one, they're going to play one-on-one.
Was it?
No, it wasn't. And that was clear about the 4th time you tried it. But you tried it 9 times. It's not working. I mean, what are you doing? Like, are you even watching the game? That's the essence of a good offensive coordinator who can plan. By the way, they had 2 weeks for this.
2 weeks off a bye.
Off a bye. Your coaching staff couldn't figure out a weakness in the 30th ranked defense.
That's the worst part for me. I mean, you had 2 weeks. It was a bye. You come back. Usually, you kind of self-evaluate. You look at the tape. You really grind and figure out.
They took the whole week off.
Yeah, they did take the whole week off. You're right.
They gave the players the week off. You know why? Because they didn't want to see that the coaches weren't working either. They didn't want the players in the building to see that the coaches weren't working either. Like, what were you? First of all, how do you give the players a week off?
There needs to be a deep examination into what is going on at one Buck place.
How do you give the players a week off? You're terrible. Yeah, you won a couple games in a row. You're still terrible.
Just to come out like where was
you guys are great. You won 2 weeks in a row. Even though the Rams gifted you the game, you played well in Seattle. And by the way, I had this written down. I have to mea culpa. I said last week that the Bucs had turned the corner. I did.
Sure,
we
both did.
I really thought they had. It's just, but I underestimated the absolute ineptitude of this coaching staff. I underestimated that. I thought that they, okay, these guys are professionals. They've been around the league. These guys won a Super Bowl, for God's sakes, and won 13 games last year, this coaching staff. They can't be this dumb. They can't be this inept. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
It's no
My
longer,
bad.
we can't
My
just
bad.
look at it anymore and go, oh, Tom Brady's going to figure it out. You just can't say it anymore because we have too much evidence. You are a 5-6 football team. You are what you are.
Yeah, you're a 17.
You are what you are. You're lucky you play in a garbage division that you're still leading, by the way. I can't believe that. They probably need to change the format based on this season because this team is awful. Yeah. This team is actually an awful football team. The offense
is pretty damn
the
good.
offense is this is an awful offense, and there's no change. There's no adapting at halftime. There's just nothing added in. And yesterday, to your point about it wasn't a good match for Mike Evans, and they kept going to it, and they kept going to it. I'm going to be honest with you. Mike Evans needed to be off the field yesterday at points.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where his head is.
I don't either.
But yesterday was one of the worst football games I have ever seen 13 have.
His body language.
The body language was
awful.
horrendous, and I look at the snap count.
Ooh.
He played 90% of the snaps. What did he do yesterday to earn 90% of the snaps? I don't care that he's Mike Evans. I don't care that he had that big record yesterday where he became the 5th player to have 10,000 receiving yards and 75. That's cool. We'll get to that at the end of his career. But yesterday, he was horrendous against a corner. To the casual fan, does anybody know who that is?
Never heard of him.
I've never heard of him.
Never
heard of him. And he had Mike Evans pocketed all day. The one pass at the end of the game where they finally kind of threw it deep, which you don't see often in this Bucs offense. And he had a step on Emerson, and the throw was right in front of him.
It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't a horrible throw. It was right in front of him,
horrible.
and Mike Evans just watches it go right over him, and then he's just...
Well, he was hardly even looking back.
He wasn't. He wasn't even it's like he wasn't ready for it. That to me is one of the startling things too. Have Mike Evans and Tom Brady ever played with each other? At times you don't know.
9 targets yesterday, 2 catches. 9 targets.
9 targets.
Catches.
And not even close, by the way. Not even close on some of these. You can tell there's a communication issue between Brady and Evans. This is year 3. And now I think I saw 7 games in a row without a touchdown from Mike Evans, the longest stretch of his career.
It's brutal.
It is brutal right now.
Brutal.
Why did he play? There was no point, in my opinion, in having him out there other than the fact, well, he's Mike Evans. We have to put. No.
You're not going to take him off the field.
I would.
Well, based on the performance.
But this coaching staff's never going to do it.
Oh, are you kidding me? No way. And by the way, so this team was 4 for 15 on 3rd down against this vaunted Browns 30th ranked defense. 4 for 15. And I went through some of them chronologically through the game. 3rd and 2, Brate was open. Ball got knocked down at the line. That's going to happen. 3rd and 1, they're in a tight formation, that stupid-ass tight formation. They act like they can actually knock people off the ball with this undersized offensive line, which is just a joke.
Oh.
How many times? And the A-gap is wide open. It's 3rd and inches, by the way. The A-gap is wide open for Tom Brady to take a sneak. Like it's a gift, which he took the next time they had short yardage, and it was a gift. But he clearly was not allowed to take it there. He's got to turn around and hand off the ball. O'Keefe gets absolutely destroyed from the inside by Owusu, and it's a tackle for loss, and they have to punt the football. It didn't have to, but they do because that's what they do. And that's just, again, why is he not allowed to sneak that ball on 3rd and inches? Because he did because Brady went back to the huddle and Byron and said, you know what, next time I'm just going to take it. I don't give a what you say. I'm going to take it. And he did, and it was easy. So that 3rd and 1 call, just absolutely awful. 3rd and 10. Again, and everyone's over. They throw the ball underneath to who? Cameron Brate? Like you're going to throw the ball underneath, and you need Yak to get the first down. You're going to need somebody to make somebody miss. So let's go to Cameron Brate. I cannot think of one person on this roster, and Cam, I love you, brother, that's an eligible receiver, and I could probably pick out some defensive players, and maybe if I looked at this roster of 46, 53, whatever you want to say, like he would be below 40 As for guys, like I would almost throw it to Tristan Wirfs, because I know he's going to plow people over. The person who's not going to make somebody miss is Cameron Brate. And yet twice on third down, we threw it in front of the sticks and thought this guy could somehow make a first down. I mean, just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
To quote Byron Leftwich, no logic.
Yeah.
No logic.
Yeah.
And no logic also as to the fact that Cam Brate plays the same amount of snaps as Cade Otton and gets 5 targets. And Cade Otton, right here, zero for Cade Otton.
Yeah, Cade Otton. Because he's not as good as Cam Brate. He's a bigger target, bigger radius. He's much faster. He's a better player. He can make people miss, but yet we're not going to put him out there in a crucial situation.
You watch. When Luke Gedecke's healthy, he's going back in. You watch.
Oh, yeah.
You watch because they're proving it right here.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah. And
we're putting our guys in.
Nick Lever had a couple of whiffs, but on the touchdown play.
On the touchdown to Godwin, that's all him.
Yeah, Garrett is coming off of Donovan Smith about to sack Tom Brady, and Leverett moves over and pops him right at allowing Brady to step up and make the play. Which, by the way, Donovan Smith, I know he's playing with a bad arm, but my God, you know how they had two sacks when they rushed 3. They rushed 3 guys and had 2 sacks in crucial situations.
Yeah,
3 guys, and both times the Bucs either chipped with Cade Otton or had a back in. So you had 6 guys blocking 3, and you gave up 2 sacks.
Yeah. Horrendous.
Wow.
Horrendous. And he had a false start penalty.
Yeah.
And he had the most critical penalty of the game in overtime when Brady does that little shovel pass to Rashad White. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I'm like,
they had the ball at the 38. They would have kicked 2 more plays.
Yeah.
They're in field goal range.
And a penalty takes it over.
The penalties were killers. Absolutely killers. Because this team has no accountability.
No.
This team has 0 accountability. If you make a bad play, nobody says crap. Nobody says anything on the sideline. Nobody does anything. You just keep playing. It's
Todd Bowles all day right here. All day. This is Todd Bowles right here. After you have a long touchdown or you have a crap play, this is it. Just arms crossed, stone face. That's what you get.
How do you 4 sacks yesterday in the second half of Jacoby Brissett? And Nacho had 2 of them, and yet he's not in there for the majority of the time. Their personnel decisions are garbage. This coaching staff's personnel decisions are garbage. They don't recognize who's playing well and who's not and use them during the game. Clearly, Akeem Hicks was gassed and could not play at the end of the game, and they kept sending him out there. I mean, it's so laughable. And the punt on 4th and 2 at the 37 it's just that's indicative. And I tweeted it out right there. Todd Bowles thinks he can win. There's 12 minutes left in the game, by the way. Todd Bowles thinks he can win this game 17-10. And when you play like that, you lose. And I tweeted that out with 12 minutes left to go. That's exactly what happened. You cannot surrender like that. The 98th percentile most cowardly punt in the history of the NFL. You cannot surrender like that and think that you're going to win anything in this league, even against Cleveland. And so we're gonna play some good audio here. Let's play. And by the way, I'm not gonna say. I would have liked there to be more questions about game management, and let's hopefully today, with instead of questions about guys that might be injured, you got 5 minutes to talk to the coach who just made a bunch of bonehead decisions, and most of the questions were not related to his decisions about what happened in the game, but there were a couple, so we're going to try to get those out. Do we have the one about the overtime not calling timeouts?
Yep.
All right, Greg Allman, great question here about and Bowles' response, even his nonverbal, is so indicative here of a guy who just didn't even think about it. He didn't even think about calling timeout on defense. I mean, we're yelling at the screen, and the head coach, who was supposed to be, who's paid millions of dollars to make these decisions, is sitting there with his arms crossed, completely clueless as the time just ticks away. Time that you could have your Hall of Fame quarterback using to come back and win the game, and you're just letting it tick down. All right, here's the question and answer.
At the end of regulation there, obviously they have the ball. Is there any thought to calling a timeout when you know it's a 3rd or a 4th down near the goal line, just to give yourself more time to get to answer with a field goal, if you will?
You talking about the overtime or the regular?
Talking about at the end of regulation.
The end of regulation. No, that clock was going to run down. We didn't have enough to stop it right there. So it was overtime right there, right off the top. Once we couldn't get the other play, Julio made a great play, then we couldn't get there. It was going to overtime.
I mean, we're not even talking about calling the timeouts on defense. This is just the other part of it, and this is the most obvious thing, like everybody. And I was surprised. Why didn't Brady call timeout?
That's another thing. Like, you have a bunch of experienced guys on the field: Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Donovan. I mean, just anybody that's on that offense has been in there. I mean, they built Julio Jones. Why does nobody else have the wherewithal to go, hey, we should probably call a timeout here? That tells me they're not even like they're not studying these things. They're not doing these things in practice. They're not prepared for it, or the head coach has already said in their head, hey, we're not doing this.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Because you can't tell me that Tom Brady didn't know that. He was told that we're not going to use our timeouts because Bowles was so afraid to give the ball back with time. I mean, and there's 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
He literally, you can hear it in him. Oh, we're already going. He was already resigned for it to going to overtime. It is my good friend Devin Garnett put out today. He goes, hey, it's Monday morning and the Bucs still have 2 timeouts left today. Please go spend them wisely. It's so true. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? That's as basic as it gets.
So, like, when you
call timeout right
and when
there.
You listen to that answer,
and he goes, oh, Julio made a great play. Like he's never done that before.
When you listen to that answer and you listen to the long pause that he had and just the non-convict, what do you do? You're effed.
Yeah.
As a team, you're effed.
That's a defensive mindset.
I don't know what else to tell you.
There's no way we can go down and get into field goal range with 32 seconds left, which should be a minute 8. But even with 32 seconds left, we don't have any time.
And again, I go back to the punt. I go back to the punt too, real quick. Did you see Brady's body language after they ran up to the line and thought they were going to force somebody offside?
Oh.
Did you see how angry he got?
Yeah, that was even worse. You make the greatest quarterback in history go up there and turtle. Like, just absolutely turtle and do this bull crap. Like we're going to draw him off.
It takes a delay game.
Like some high school bull crap. Instead
game.
of using his talents to try and convert the freaking play and win the game.
And he was pissed.
Of course he was pissed. Like, he gets that, like, we're going to do the offsides play. What?
See, but in that moment, if that moment you're Tom Brady, do you go, no, F off, we're going for this here?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
And do you think in past years Brady would have done that, correct?
I think so, yeah. Well, first of all, you think Bruce Arians would have punted
on
4th and 2 at the Browns 37 in that situation?
No.
Where you need one more score.
What other head coach is doing that?
Nobody is doing it, and certainly not Bruce Arians. Which brings us to another question. And I know this is ridiculously far-fetched because of, the world that we live in. All right. And, was Arians forced out by Tom Brady? Boy, if he was, Tom, how you feeling about that now, pal? How you feeling about that now? Not so good. I bet. Not so good. If I'm the Glazers, I'm paying Bruce Arians $2 million or $4 million, whatever it is, to play golf or whatever. I know he had a health scare, and God forbid, maybe this is a health thing that he can't come back. I don't know. But I'm entertaining the situation. Like, he's still on the payroll, and these guys, and I don't feel sorry for Bowles, and you guys have had more than enough opportunity.
No, all that talk to Bruce Arians said, I didn't want Todd to have to go coach somewhere, and I didn't want to have Byron go coach somewhere that's going to be a crappy situation where you get fired in a year. Guess what? You're getting fired after a year.
You
are.
Are you? I don't know.
I think you are.
If you're not fired now, I mean, what more do you need to see? Blazers. This coaching staff is.
Well, I think they definitely want to finish the season.
And by the way, I love Todd Bowles as a human being. And by the way, one hell of a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's a great defensive coordinator. He called a great game yesterday defensively.
Great game yesterday. Like, as a defense coordinator, this dude is the best. But as a head coach, you're not good. You're just not good. And, neither, and I wouldn't be either. I wouldn't be a great head coach. I don't have the qualities that it takes to be a great coach, but we have to, it's not personal. This is not personal about you, Todd. This is about the way you coach and the way you're coaching this team. And it's abysmal. There's no accountability on this team. There's no forward thinking. There's 2 weeks. You're doing nothing. Well, offensively, defensively playing great. He's a great defensive coordinator. But he's just not a good coach. He's not a good game manager. We said this before the season. We're going to see how he manages games, like how
he's got an F.
He's terrible.
It's an F.
Terrible. He's absolutely terrible. And his offensive coordinator should have been fired games ago. And it's just it's a crap show. It is a crap show. And yeah, and you said this. This was a coaching staff that was put together and handed the keys to a Lamborghini that won a Super Bowl in 13 games in the last 2 years. And I know there's no Gronk and Ryan Jensen went down. Every coach in this league, every organization in this league loses players and has to replace them, find guys to replace them. That's part of great coaching, talent evaluation, put people in and go get it done. You have a core of players here that is among the elite in this NFL, and you are absolutely crapping on them. I mean, it's awful. And we're supposed to, and if I'm the Glazers and I'm paying all this money to all these players and doing everything to win, and this is the show that I get against the Cleveland Browns in that situation, and my coaches are completely inept, I'm sorry. I'm not firing you. You fired yourself. You guys fired yourself. Yeah, I'm not doing this. You did this. I didn't. I gave you the keys to the car. I gave you every opportunity to turn this crap around. You had 2 weeks to do this, and this is the problem. And you give the team the week off. You're like, what are you doing? Like, what is that? And this is the problem. If you're going to do that, you better come back and win and be good. You weren't. You were terrible. You were terrible. Your execution was terrible. Your calls were terrible. Your game management was terrible. Everything was terrible on the offense. The last 7 drives. You want to hear the last 7 drives?
Yeah.
This is good stuff. From the drive chart. Oh, this is like reading freaking Hemingway here. After a touchdown to start the third quarter, 11:29, they go 3 yards. That's 3 plays, 4 yards, punt. 6 plays, 25 yards, punt. 3 yards, 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. 3 plays, minus 10 yards, punt. 4 plays, 27, end of the game. In overtime, 8 yards, 8 plays, 23 yards, punt. 5 plays, 16 yards, punt. That's your offensive output with the greatest quarterback in history, 2 Hall of Fame receivers, a Pro Bowl receiver, pretty good tight end that you don't use, a running back that was averaging almost 5 yards a carry, by the way. Rashad White has 35 yards on the first drive. How many yards does he have the rest of the game? He has 13 carries for another 35 yards. I think it was, or 34 yards. Which isn't great, but you were running the football at almost 5 yards a clip, and you didn't really run the football. Look at what the Browns did with Nick Chubb. They didn't get 7 yards every single time, but they were pounding you with a purpose because they were attacking a weakness, and they knew eventually that would break, and it did for the key plays of the game. So, yeah, again, just no rhyme or reason, sequencing of plays, no attacking weaknesses that you see consistently. It's just it's basic level coaching. You're just picking plays, and you're not sequencing them. You're not playing off of this fake and that fake. It's
coaching malpractice. That's the easiest way I can put it. It's coaching malpractice, and it's week after week after week after week. It's just hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. It's hard to sit down and watch this team for 3 hours on a Sunday, even on a game where I came out and said, this is my lock of the week. I thought it was going to be a nice, easy Sunday. I really did. But clearly, fool's gold. Yeah. It was fool's gold, the win over the Rams, and it was fool's gold, the win over the Seahawks. And to your point there about just kind of picking plays out of a hat and just not having any sequence, they had one drive, the second touchdown that they scored, the one to O'Keefe. They kind of did a little bit of different. They kind of went more tempo. They passed on 3 or 4 first downs, no huddle.
No huddle play action teams in the game.
Went down the field and scored. It's 17-10 now. You got a chance to you got the ball back because the defense made a really good stand. You got the ball back. You got a chance to kind of put your foot on their throat and full throttle here. Let's build some drives a little bit. And what do? You go right back to first down run and then 2 throws well below the sticks. And you go 3 and out. And right again, your momentum gone. Changed. And you just went all through all the drives. It's as if Byron Leftwich said he had money on the game, or he had Brown 7.5. I don't know what, but they had all those drives to do something with it, and they couldn't get anything against the 30th ranked defense in the league. With the defensive coordinator, Cleveland's got the pitchforks out for this guy, Joe Woods. He figured it out. I don't even think it's rocket science. He probably saved his job for another week, and he probably shouldn't, because the Bucs offense just makes all these defenses look great.
Oh, with their formation, they line up and they run the same plays. They tell They have tells on every single play what they're going to do, and that's why teams have, when they run the football, they have 7, 8, 9 guys in the box almost every time, and safety's running up because they know it's a run. They know when it's a run. They know it's a pass. That's because of the formations. The Bucs don't scout their own tendencies to do stuff that's different. It's just the basic coaching stuff. I mean, it's so bad.
Yeah. What was the stat that we had there about the play action, by the way? The graphic they popped up. I think it popped up on Fox. I had it here. Yeah. No huddle plays. They're all top 5 in the NFL in plays, yards, and touchdowns in the NFL. And they don't do it nearly to the point that they should. Yeah. They don't. And here's the thing. Byron Leftwich probably doesn't even have this data. He probably doesn't even know this data. He doesn't care about this data because he's already admitted it. Yeah. That's my thing. I think we had this discussion about a different topic a few weeks ago. Yeah. If someone gave you a book and said, here's what you do well and here's what you don't do well, which are you going to do more of?
I probably do the stuff I do well.
I think that's common sense. Yeah. I think it's common sense, but this coaching staff and Byron Leftwich, they don't care. They don't care. Stats to them, they don't matter.
All right. By the way, if you guys want to jump in here, you can go on YouTube at the JP Peterson Show, and you can put your comments there. Also on Facebook, you can reach out at FanStreamJP. I'm going to read some of the tweets I got yesterday. We'll go through that, and I'll put up some of these here today. We got a lot of comments too. Jeremy Lowe, we have the worst coaching staff in the league. Fire the whole staff. Joe F. 2 weeks to prepare. This is what you got. Fire them today. We were handed the keys to a 10-win team. We'll be lucky to be 500 with this division. You should be running away with it. Ridiculous. Absolutely 100% true. Joe Lindsay, fire Bowles now that this team has no identity, and it sucks because that 4th and 2 should have gone for. It's so cowardly. So cowardly. He had clock issues in Arizona and still does. Why can't he get it right? I think you meant New York. It's a great game. So was the UCF-USF game. Yeah, I talk about the FSU game. Yeah. Chris Cole, bad coaching all the way around. Jeremy Lowe, one and done. Like, I don't even want to go to the playoffs. Are you kidding me? They did 2 swing passes in a row to Godwin on their own 15. I mean, it's
comical. At one point yesterday, I was laughing on my couch watching this stuff.
All right, we'll take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to have some more Bowles sound for you about third downs. We're going to play the Brady stuff as well. And his body language was even more telling. And as I said, if you guys want to comment on Facebook, on the YouTube, you can do that as well. So we're also going to get into the college football stuff as well. Big weekend in college football. Hey, Lightning got a win too. That was fun. So we'll get to a lot of other stuff. You can join us here as well. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency, and by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to their website, get more information. Give them a call, free call if you're injured in an accident. All right, back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this debacle Monday. So much we've already talked about, so much to get to, and we will do that here in a moment. By the way, the health insurance marketplace is open, and if you're a part of it, you got to reapply for that as well. And if you do not have health insurance, and stats tell us that 1 out of 3 people in the state of Florida do not have health insurance, what are you doing? Because you can go to the health insurance marketplace and get covered $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 844-310-9961. They will help you navigate the health insurance marketplace website, which is very tough to do. In fact, they will do it for you. This is a third-party company that will help you do it. They've helped me. I called up and I got Blue Cross Blue Shield Florida Blue coverage for $49 a month. It depends on your income, your family situation, a couple other things. So I have that information ready to go. It's a free call, and they'll do all the work for you. 844-310-9961, and you can find out what it's going to cost to get yourself covered. It's pretty easy stuff, and it's amazing. And the people that do it, like myself, are like, man, I should have done this a long time ago. I've spent so much money that I probably didn't have to spend. So, yes, it's a government program. It can help you out, and it can help you out tremendously. 844-310-9961. And this isn't government insurance. This is not Medicaid. This is Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield. And there are other plans you can choose from as well. Just depends on your income. So give them a call at 844-310-9961. Tell them you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. They will help you out again, and just find out. It's a free call. Why not? And even if you have a plan with your employer that you're having money taken out of your check, trust me, they may not be subsidizing that as much as the government will, especially depending on what you're making, what your family situation is. So why not find out if you can get it for less? And then you can, this year, when you come up for your elections with your employer, you could say, no, thank you. That money goes into your check to help pay for the insurance here and you could save money. So make the call. Find out what your options are. Pretty simple. 844-310-9961. All right. I want to play some of the post-game stuff here. Let's go to let's play the rest of the Todd Bowles, shall we? He was asked about the third down situations. Again, they were 4 for 15. I went over a bunch of those calls on third down, many of them which were very manageable, and the Bucs still could not convert. So here's Bowles on third down conversions.
We're not finishing third downs. Third downs have been crucial for us, stopping us from driving the ball. I think we were like 4 of 16, something like that. They were might have been 5 of 17, which was about 24%. And if you can't score or get the ball moving on third down, it's going to be tough to stay on the field.
Yeah, especially when you're punting on 4th and 2 from the Browns 37.
But here's the thing, though. That answer to me is so like 20, 30 years football. We got to convert on third down. No. You got to convert on first down. That's how the game works now. You have to set yourself up for third and manageable, third and short to give yourself a chance in today. You have to. That's the problem. The Bucs, how many times do they just punt first down? They just give it away. Like they don't treat first down like a priority at all. And then sometimes they'll follow up second down and they're throwing like just weird passes out to the flat for nothing. And then you have 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and on and on. That's why the Bucs suck on third down.
And I even look at the Browns. I mean, they had a 4th and 9 situation. Okay. And they knew that Carlton Davis was going one-on-one with Amari Cooper. And they knew Amari Cooper is one of the best route runners in the game.
Yes, he is.
So all they knew was like, okay, if they're going to stick Carlton Davis out there one-on-one, and this is not an indictment of CD3. It's hard to cover Amari Cooper one-on-one. And so what's he going to do? He's going to run a stop route. He's going to act like he's going deep, and he's going to stop, and he's going to come back. That's a play that you say, okay, we're going to win there. That's a good strategy. If we protect Brissett on this one, we're going to be able to get that done because they're out there one-on-one. Our guy's better than their guy in that situation. Good call. Execute. Boom. 3rd and 10 for the Bucs seems like, oh my God, what play do we have called for? We don't even have a play. You look at the routes that are being run. I'm like, what's the concept here? Like, did you really think that Cam Brate was going to make those two guys miss? Was that the play call? 5 yards short of the sticks. Did you really think that Chris Godwin was going to catch that ball and run another 9 yards when they're playing zone?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're throwing below the sticks on all these third down and longs, or even the third and manageable ones. They're throwing below the sticks to a receiving core that right now ain't picking up a lot of yak, and they're not designed. Like Mike Evans, we know darn well is not picking up any yak.
Never been a yak.
He looks uncomfortable at times running with yak. Chris Godwin, I thought he was a lot better yesterday. You can see he's starting to get a little bit more separation in his game, making some tough catches. But still, his game, the part of his game, which is the yak that he's been so good in his career, it's not there yet, right? So we're not going to see that. Julio Jones, he didn't play a lot. I thought he was out there. He actually made plays. I mean, they did that end around to him, and he looks really fast when he gets out in space still. Yeah. So maybe that's something to explore a little bit more. He seems healthy. Maybe you get him involved a little bit. He seems like he's a guy that can run after the catch.
Yep.
So maybe you explore with him. I mean, Scotty Miller, we know can, but I mean, he played like 4 snaps yesterday. Perriman played 8, and that's what you got. You don't have a receiving core that's designed to do these things.
And you look at Stefanski, and again, talk about executing and picking on weaknesses. One of the weaknesses on this Bucs defense, I hate to harp on the defense because they played so well, but one of the weaknesses, as you can see on tape every time, is that Joe Tryon does not contain. He doesn't know contain. He goes down for the fake every single time. So you're going to look at that tape and go, okay, we've got to run at least 2 or 3 reverses on this guy. So they run a reverse, and what do? They score a touchdown. And by the way, Jacoby Brissett absolutely decleating Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
Not a good look. But again, that's you see a weakness and you attack it. When does Brown and Leftwich ever do that?
It doesn't.
Well, you know what? The good call to O'Keefe, rarely used. And that's a play. Vilma got that right, where it's very hard to defend when the linebacker's inside, and in that situation, you sneak that fullback out who blocks 95% of the time. He's going to be open. That was a great call. The Cade Otton touchdown to win the game. That was another great call. He fakes inside. They go for the run. That was good. It's not like Leftwich has blown everything, but those are you see Godwin's touchdown. He had his man one-on-one, opposite side of all the other guys, wide open field. Safeties are over there. All he's got to do is just win a little bit on the inside, and you could throw it to him. Good call. Executed, touchdown, well done. But it's like that's so few and far between. It's so few and far between. And with this type of talent, you should be scoring 35, 40 points a game. No question. That's what they've done the last couple of years when Bruce Arians was there. And you think that Leftwich would have learned something, but clearly he did not. Let's go to let's just get Bowles on the general assessment of the loss. Let's do number 2 for Todd Bowles here.
This was tough. We had so much in all 3 phases that lost this ball game, whether it was the return game that they returns on us, whether it was
Special teams awful
or kickoff, defensively, key stops at certain times, a penalty to move the ball, letting the run out at certain times. The tackling wasn't great. Offensively, not being able to get third downs was crucial for us, and they were getting to the quarterback too much in the second half.
Rushing 3, by the way. Third downs are when, offensive coordinators really show their chops. And you look at the Bucs' third down percentage and look at Brady's career percentages on all these, like everything Brady has done throughout his entire career. You see the trends, and everything is down significantly this year. What's the difference? Okay, no Gronk, I get it, but there's still plenty of talent out there. There's plenty of talent out there to work with. And there's just no rhyme.
I say it every week. They should be able to. They've only scored over 23 once. They should be able to shit that out.
Yeah.
Every week.
They
really should.
Yeah.
They did it 14 times last year. And I know the pieces were a little bit different, but you did it 14 times. There's no way it can be that big of a drop off. Like, I refuse to believe it. I have to believe it because it's in front of me.
Well, it's again, when we see the timeout calls and the terrible clock management, which shows just a lack of understanding of basic football. That's the stuff that we can see on the surface. Okay. That's there for everybody to see. Underneath the water on the iceberg, the stuff, what's going on in meetings, what's going on on the headsets, what's going on. I mean, if you're that clueless on the basic stuff, how clueless are you on everything else?
Have they done the in-season hard knocks yet this year? Because
Yeah.
This would be a great team
Oh my God.
to have the cameras on during the season. It would be great.
We thought the Jameis Winston rhymes were embarrassing. All right, let's do some Brady here. And he was asked about the Brady answers. All I can hear him just saying while he talks is like, I can't really answer your question specifically because this is such a cluster F. I've never been involved with anything this stupid. And I really don't want to throw Byron under the bus or some of the other players. I mean, although I think Brady's admission about couple weeks ago that the game day effort is embarrassing. That is such an indictment of your head coach and your coaching staff. That is the worst thing you can say about your coaching staff is that our game day effort is embarrassing. Not bad, not what it should be, embarrassing. This is a guy that's played on 22 seasons, and this coaching staff allows your game day effort to be embarrassing and your execution level to be embarrassing. And that's when he says that on his well-sponsored podcast. He doesn't say that in these press conferences, maybe because he comes on after Todd Bowles. But when you say that, what do you think Todd Bowles felt like when he heard him say that on the podcast? That his team's game day, from the greatest player that's ever done it, that's been on 7 Super Bowl teams, who knows what it takes to win, says that your game day effort is embarrassing as a team. If you're the owner and you hear that, what are you thinking?
You got to go. He's got to go. And listen, the Glazers, there's one thing we can say. They usually are quick with the trigger. They usually have been quick with the trigger. Now, I don't think they want to do something like that during the season. And clearly, if you're paying attention to anything going on in England, there's a lot more on their plate right now that's arguably more pressing to them. So I don't know how tuned in or plugged in they are right now. But after the season, there's no way that Byron Leftwich should be here. I think that should be a certain. And then Todd Bowles, I would absolutely one and done for him. One and done. You don't deserve to have all these pieces and put this out there.
No, you can't. It as much as I love Todd, and he's a great human being, great dude, but in the NFL, you just can't be this bad, and it be that obvious. All right, here's Brady. Let's do number 6. We didn't score enough points.
Just didn't score enough points, so 17 points isn't going to do it, and that's basically what we've been doing all year. So we just got to, it's like the same thing, Had a chance, give them a lot of credit. They made some real clutch plays. 4th down completion for the touchdown was a great play. But we had our chances, we just didn't make the plays, and they did.
He's just fighting back. 17 points ain't going to get it done. And that's what we've been all year long.
Yeah,
17 points.
I did think this next
Terrible.
answer, though, even though he's not going to come out and make it obvious for you what he's saying, I think if you really break down this next quote that we'll play, he drops a few hints there of what he's really thinking. So here it is.
I mean, that's football, and I believe you do the right thing and you give yourself an opportunity to win. If you do the wrong thing, it's very difficult. We just too many plays where we're just not on the same page and just not, we're all not seeing it, the same way, and we just got to work at it and talk through it and see if we can improve it.
Yeah, he says we're not on the same page, and then we're not seeing everything the same way. At week 12, third year with most of these players, we're not on the same page.
And how do you change that? How do you change that? How do you get on the same page in football? Like, what would you do if you're the coach? Like, we're not on the same page, which they haven't been all year long. The execution, third down, everything's been bad. You got talent clearly, but okay. So what's the remedy to that?
I don't know.
It's pretty simple.
Tell me. Practice, yeah.
Practice. You practice it. You do it. You don't magically go, okay, we're going to be better.
Either you practice or you simplify things.
You practice.
Yeah.
Let's get on. How do you get on the same page? You practice it. What did we do last week?
We took a week off.
You took the week off. You gave the players the week off. You can't come in, okay, you want their bodies to heal up, blah, blah, blah. You can't bring them in and say, guys, we got 2 wins in a row. This week we're going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have off Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then you have the week off. Go to your colleges, do what you're going to do, take your plans. Can't get 3 days in where we're walking through stuff to get on the same page, improve our execution, maybe change some things, maybe do some self-scouting, maybe go back to what really works for us, get on the same page. Let me run 15 go routes to Mike Evans and see if we can't sharpen our execution a little bit.
Here's the thing, though.
You gave them the week off.
Here's the difference. And in 2020, when things changed coming out of the bye week,
yeah,
the Bucs were in crisis mode.
Yeah.
They were struggling. Okay. Now they've been struggling at times this year, for most of it, actually. But you're forgetting the fact that they won 2 games in a row going into this bye week.
That's right.
So what does that do? It gives you a false sense of hope.
Yep.
It gives you a false sense of everything.
But,
and you kind of forget about the issues in those moments.
Well,
I'm not saying it's right, but I think that's valid.
Well, if you're a fan or, a ticket sales guy, you might have some false hope. If you're the head coach of this team and you really think that you're good now because you beat the Rams because they capitulated and did some stupid stuff like you usually do in the last 40 seconds, Cooper Kupp is more worried about the clock than he is getting the game-winning first down, which he clearly could have had. And that gave you at least the opportunity to win the game. Good luck. You didn't make it happen. You go to Seattle, you play your best game of the year.
Yep.
How do you not come home and build on that, knowing that you're still not a good football team? You still need to be better. And you actually thought that okay, we've turned the corner like I did. And I mean, even they've turned the corner, but you don't give them the week off. You continue to work to get better. And what does Brady always say? You got to get better. You got to evolve as the season goes on. And you think like giving everybody the week off was going to make you a better team? How in God's name?
I don't know. But he says, he's been saying the same thing all year. We just got to work at it. And like I said, the time for that.
You're not working at it. Your effort level is embarrassing.
Yeah. You're not really working at it. And even if you are, listen, it's too late. It's too late. Nothing's changing. If you come out of a bye week and this is what you have, this is what you are.
Yeah.
This is what you are. The coaching staff's not changing. The players aren't changing. This is who they are.
Yeah, I thought they turned the corner because I thought that this coaching staff had finally figured some stuff out, but no, they haven't, and they're just not.
And this
good
is back to back. This is back to back years, by the way. They've come out of bye week and laid a stinker against an inferior opponent. Last year was against Washington. They came out and they were awful in that game. And of course, Bruce Arians was the head coach then. It's a little bit different. Todd Bowles now, but still, this is back-to-back years. You come out of a bye week and it's awful. So I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, and now you're starting to see, even Tom Brady looks defeated. Like there's no fight. There's like no fight because even he realizes,
he knows it's not going to get better.
Like whatever suggestions that he's made, whatever things he's tried to do. And I don't want to absolve Brady of fault here. He missed some guys yesterday. I thought some of his decision, but when I looked at, I'm like, why are you checking it down the break? You know why? Because nobody else is open. Where was that one play? They ran a play. The one they checked down to Cam Brate, where they stacked the players, they stacked the three receivers on the right side, and they ran them towards the middle. And I think it was like 3rd and 9, or it was after the Donovan Smith penalty. So I think it was like 3rd and 12. And they ran 3 guys. They were in a bunch formation, and they ran 3 guys into the middle of the field, and then the speedy Cameron Brate underneath to catch and run. And the 3 guys were like within 15 yards of each other, like in the middle of the field. They all turned around at the sticks and were like right next to each other. Like, what kind of route is that?
It's not a route. That's not a route concept.
What is it?
It's not a route concept.
It's not a route concept. I'm like, what? Like, what do you? So is your feeling that everybody's going to drop back to the line and going to sneak Cam Brate, the speedy Cam Brate underneath, and he's going to catch it? Is that the concept of that play? Because if it is against that defense, that's awful.
If I'm not mistaken,
and of course it was incomplete because he had no separation whatsoever from the linebacker. It's a terrible play concept.
A play like that is just coming to my head right now about that whole underneath thing and having everybody else somewhere in the field where you have it there. Did they not do the same thing last year against Buffalo with Rashad Perriman, someone who can actually run?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I think he went for like 60 yards for a game-winning score.
Yeah.
He's still on this team.
Well, and against a man defense.
He's still on this team. It's like if you wanted to run that stuff, okay, fine. I get the idea. But to have Cam Brate as the guy going across the field, that's just laughable.
Yeah,
when you have speedy Rashad Perriman and you have speedy Scotty Miller down low, who could probably get a little bit more separation on whoever was on Brate.
Yeah.
But hold up, we don't call the same play twice.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
Can't do that.
Even though
can't do that.
The Browns did it twice in a row because it worked every single time. Because you're attacking a weakness that you. It is so bad on so many levels. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit of college football, the USF, the UCF game, coaching changes. Who's the next USF coach, by the way? Like, what the hell's going on in this coaching search? It definitely ain't John Gruden, and I'm pretty sure it's not Deion Sanders. So who's next up? Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina? Well, is it Willie Simmons from FAMU? I don't know. We'll talk about that and some of the college football games. Tom Block, FSU sideline guy, is going to join us at 11:15 as well. So another big hour coming your way. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
It's that time of the year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 844-310-9961 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. It's not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Are you kidding me? It all depends on your income and family situation. It's a free call, 844-310-9961. They will ask for some income information, and the highly trained reps will do the work to find out what your subsidy will be. 844-310-9961. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper here. It's a free call, folks, and this has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years. And you could choose your plan. That's 844-310-9961. Get covered like me and thousands of others and save thousands. 844-310-9961.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Golden Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Golden Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Golden Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Let's go right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour here, BAMMC.com. So if you're in need of some testosterone replacement therapy, we had Chris Lugo on the other day. So much great information on how they handle TRT. And it's from a medical background. It's not one of these, these testosterone mills that are out there. They're going to take your blood work and monitor your blood work and make sure everything is okay and you're doing it the right way. And also, if you're looking to lose weight, they have some great weight loss plans. They call it Bay Area Modern Medical Center because they use modern techniques, modern philosophies, not some of this old guard stuff that so many of these doctors just rely on, give you a shot, give you a pill. No, this is about making good life choices and using the latest and greatest techniques. So Bay Area Modern Medical Center is the way to go, whether you're trying to get your immune system built up, which is a great idea, especially with the cold and flu season coming up. Great folks to see over there, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Go to BAMMC.com and get your appointment now. And please tell them JP Peterson sent you. All right, man, it was a hell of a weekend in college football. And I think we're sorting out a little bit of what this playoff is going to look like. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about, some of these in-state games. I mean, I went to the Florida game, and that was as good an atmosphere as I've seen in a long, long time in college football. And, I want to say that it was like the dynasty days, but I'm here to tell you, folks, and I know a lot of people said Mike Norvell, and it was so loud at Doak Campbell Stadium. It was okay. It's not like the old days. It's not like the old days, folks. And I don't want to, beat up FSU fans, but it's not like it is in the swamp. It's not like it is at other places. I've been to them all. I know how loud they are. And I was like, even at third down, I could have a conversation with my son. like didn't even have to. You get it. Some of these other places, you can't hear the person next to you. And it was good. It was a fantastic atmosphere, but it's not crazy like it used to be. We need to step it up a little bit. And I'm just being honest. But as far as the team played, they were so good on so many levels. And Jordan Travis was just fantastic. Yeah, FSU made some mistakes. They had some stupid penalties. I thought the SEC refs were awful on both sides. They just missed so many calls. It kind of I'm going to say it ruined the game because I think it was an instant classic. But you talk about, Florida goes up, FSU comes back and leads by 2 touchdowns. The Gators come back and tie it. The FSU comes back with a clutch drive and wins it. Jordan Travis was some of the most incredible runs I've ever seen a quarterback make. It was so good on so many. Johnny Wilson dropping balls all over the place and then coming back to make a huge catch. Michael Pittman. I mean, the running backs, Trayshawn Ward, just phenomenal. Teofili. Benson again with the long run. Their offense is so entertaining to watch. I mean, the atmosphere was great. I mean, the freaking spear goes down. The place was packed to the gills. The tailgates were amazing. All of that stuff was fantastic. It was as good a college game and atmosphere and experience as I've had in so long. And yes, FSU won the football game. And after all we've been through, yes, you're damn right we're going to rush the field, Zach Blobner. You're damn right we are. Because it's been a long freaking time. And we just beat our biggest rival in a dramatic game. I mean, yes, of course we are. We lost to Jacksonville State last year, for God's sakes. Yes, it felt like winning a national championship.
It's just a sign of how far the program has fallen that we're rushing the field
exactly
after beating a 6-win Florida team. So I'm indifferent on that.
But I'm not going to apologize for.
I'm indifferent on that kind of stuff. I already saw the UCF crowd was going at FSU too, and I'm like, oh, just shut up. I'm tired.
We'll take care of our emotions.
I'm tired of it.
Take care of yours.
Yeah, the game itself. I mean, that was probably the best FSU Florida game that I've been able to see. In my remembrance, I was not there for all the classic games in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s. So that was probably the best one for me. FSU just plays such a entertaining brand of football.
They really do.
It's an entertaining brand of football. Now, that defense was getting shredded in that game. Anthony Richardson, I thought, was great. I thought the running backs for Florida were great. I mean, they didn't play bad, but we've been saying
Pearsall was pretty good.
Pearsall, I mean, that was the best game I think Ricky Pearsall has played in his time as a Florida Gator. Yeah, I really did. They had no answer. But as we said, Florida, can they stop FSU at some points? And they really were unable to do that. And FSU got that late, got the ball back there late, and Trey Benson, a great blocking by Turnstine out there in the open field. I mean, and Jordan Travis caps off if FSU didn't have 3 losses, I'd have to think he'd be in the Heisman conversation. He's been that good this year. And some of those runs that he was able to pull off where he's just going backwards and sideways and frontways and somehow coming inside. I thought he got robbed on 2 touchdowns, where he slid. But you take it. And
it's the difference between where you start your slide in the field of play and when you're coming to the end zone where you're going to get the ball in the end zone and you're avoiding a hit where you're avoiding a hit, which was targeting, no question about it. I mean, it's a different situation, and the SEC refs just totally choked that away.
But 9-3 for the Florida State Seminoles. And when we talked about it after the 3-game stretch where they lost, we're like, okay, you got 5 games to go. Can they run the gauntlet here? Because it looked like they were going to be the favorite. And I said, no way. They're not there yet. They're going convincingly in every game except for this Florida one. Convincingly.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed a lot there, and I think they got up to 14 in the polls now. I mean, 14 is 14. I think in past years we would have gone and look at that. Oh, that's a failure of a season. We're 14.
Right.
No.
In 1 year.
No. In 1 year.
For losing to Jacksonville State,
in
the
1
14th
year
in the nation. Beating LSU.
Yeah. Mike Norvell is the coach of the year in the ACC.
Without question.
No question about it.
Without question. It's just so good on so many levels. We're going to talk to Tom Block here in a second. So quickly, UCF, and we'll get back to this a little bit more too. You were there at the game.
Yes.
You said it was a tremendous atmosphere.
Well, at the beginning, it was all UCF. Like whenever they were doing the national anthem and they did they did the whole thing with in the night, and it was really loud. And I was like, holy crap, this USF crowd is not here. And they were kind of late showing up. The student section took a little bit to get full, but once it got going in there, it became a really good atmosphere, especially when USF got into it. And they made it was a 28-0 lead. They come back and make it 31-29.
Wow.
They
take the lead.
They kept forcing turnovers. UCF just turning over the ball. John Rice Plumlee came up with it looked like a hamstring injury. So we had to go back to Mikey Keene. Plumlee probably could have ran for 300 yards, Gus Malzahn said, if he would have been able to stay healthy in that game. And I don't think it would have been close. But they brought in Mikey Keene. The offense changes a little bit. They don't have to protect against the run of the quarterback, and USF kind of got back into it. When they made it 39-38, USF did, and I thought UCF was going to lose this game. I really did. That was as loud as I've heard that stadium for a USF game in a long time, because what it was is you had both fan bases, like UCF fans were chanting UCF, and USF fans were chanting USF. And it's like this big like showdown, like this pose off. And it was great because you just had like this one voice like going up to the heavens, and you couldn't understand. It was like USA, UC, like whatever that you combine those, whatever
There
that
was life in the stadium.
there was
for
life
God's
in the
sakes.
stadium. And Greg Wolf, by the way, I didn't know that he's the hype guy for
Yeah.
USF, by the way,
Yeah,
also.
it was a great job.
Tell you what, he adds something to the game.
He does.
He
No
adds
question.
something to the game. And then they did like the swag surf, and he was up there doing it with them. Like it was really entertaining.
Yeah.
And like they had these lights. I like the way they came. I was like, man, there is potential here actually to have
Yes.
something if they can get it going.
Yes,
But-
absolutely there is. We've
but-
seen it done before.
Yep.
And they need to, if they can get the right hire and get this team
Yeah.
winning again,
And they
there
got
can
the-
be life
listen,
here. There's
they
no
got they
doubt.
got the quarterback. If they can keep this guy out of the
Byron
portal,
Brown.
Byron
Yeah.
Brown,
Yeah.
they got the quarterback figured out. Brian Battie, I don't think he said I'm the kind of guy that wants to stay and
Why
I
would
think
you not?
I
Why
think
would you
if they can Xavier Weaver didn't play, it looks like he's probably heading for the portal because
Mhm.
it wasn't injury related. So they're probably going to lose him. If you can hold on to Horn, you can hold on to Battie, and you can hold on to Byron Brown, they got something.
Yeah.
They got a nucleus there, at
Their
least
defense
offensively.
is just horrific.
Yeah, they're going to have
It's
to
so
recruit
bad.
like hell on defense.
I watched it till 28-0. I was like, I can't. This is ridiculous. I've never seen
Yeah.
a defense this
But
poor.
in the play
It's
at
so
the
bad.
play at the end of the game, my boy Alec Holler,
What a catch!
a walk on,
What a catch! And that was a catch, folks. I don't care what. I don't know what the USF people were thinking. That's a catch. His foot was down. He grabbed the ball. He controlled the ball inside the pylon. That was
And
unbelievable.
he tweeted out in the middle of the
What a
night that
catch.
night. He goes, "Is now a good time to tell everybody that I'm left-handed?"
No way. What, dude? What a
Yeah.
catch! That has to be the greatest catch in the history of this series. It
Oh,
won
I
the
think
game.
I think that was the second greatest game in the history of this series, behind the 2017.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Wow.
So-
what a catch. What an unbelievable catch. And there is life. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're going to get Tom Block on, FSU sideline guy. He talked to Jordan Travis after the game. And, you were talking about guys coming back. I think he should come back. But we're going to talk about this. We'll get Tom's feeling on it. He knows Jordan really well. So we'll get his thoughts on this and what's happening at FSU football and kind of take you inside onto the sidelines of the FSU Florida game. So stay with us. Quick break. Tom Block coming up next.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000.
About Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. If your car's been totaled in an accident and you don't think you got what you deserve, which is usually the case with these insurance companies, hire the Jeeves Law Group. The insurance companies hate them, and they will get you some money if you have a case. Find out if you have a case. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them you heard it on the JP Show, and they will let you know if you have a case or not. So even if it's been a couple of years, they may be able to help you out. So go to Jeeves Law Group and find out what's going on. Of course, if you get injured in an accident or get in an accident at all, it pays to have a great attorney on your side, and Scott Jeeves is the best. So go to the JeevesLawGroup.com. And I know Scott is very sad since his Gators lost to the Seminoles, but that's okay. It happens. We want to bring in our good friend Tom Block, my former colleague and sideline reporter for the Florida State Seminoles. Good morning to you, my friend. It's a beautiful day in Tallahassee, I'm sure, anytime you beat the Gators. And what a night that was that I soon will not forget as a fan going to this game with my children. It was awesome. How are you?
I'm great. It was a great night. And to your point, the sun is shining a little brighter. The sky is blue, but not Gator blue, and things are good here in Tally.
Indeed, they are. You and I have been to so many of these games, and many of them at Doak Campbell Stadium. And, some of my Gator friends were giving us crap for going onto the field at the end. And I'm like, dude, we've been in the darkness for a while. We lost to Jacksonville State, for God's sakes, last year. We're up to 14 in the country. We just beat our biggest rival and was one of the most dramatic games ever. Damn right I'm going on the field. We're going to celebrate. What was the atmosphere like from spear down to the end for you on the sideline there?
Yeah, I think the same thing. Although I will say, I was doing post-game interviews, and so I wasn't paying attention to the fact that the students were coming on the field. And unfortunately, I've been on the wrong side of field rushes for a while since FSU's been in the ACC. And normally my first course of action is to get the hell out of the field because it's a messy situation. Yeah. So I was caught off guard by it, but I think you hit the nail on the head on it. Florida State's been in the darkness. They finally saw some light. That's not about beating Florida. That's just about feeling good about your football team for the first time in a while. And folks are feeling really good right now. They're not perfect. I think that was the beautiful thing about this game the other night, JP. Florida State won the football game, but you could see there's a lot of deficiencies still. Yep. And you'd rather work on those deficiencies coming off of a win, and to know that you're 9-3 in spite of not having great talent everywhere. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah,
no question about it. And I think, when you watch that game, to me, what stood out more than anything is Jordan Travis is a special player. He may not look like Dan Marino or Tom Brady, but my God, I don't know if I've seen a bigger gamer. And that's just not in this game. That goes back to when he had zero offensive line, was running for his life. The dude has never quit. He's never, ripped anybody. And his performance, I thought he carried the team. Guys are dropping balls right and left, and he's still positive. And even when the momentum was so much on the Gator side and we needed to drive, that dude just made plays like I've never seen before. What are your thoughts on that performance? To me, it's one of the greatest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And we've reached a point, JP. I mean, first of all, Jordan Travis, you probably had these conversations a couple of years ago. 2 years ago, legitimate conversation was being had about whether Jordan Travis could throw a football. Right. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was just a running – people were saying he can't throw the ball. as if FSU took a scholarship, offered a scholarship to a quarterback, let him transfer in, and he can't physically throw the football. And now we're having discussions about if he comes back, he's going to be on the Heisman watch list, which he should be.
Absolutely.
I watched Caleb Williams on Saturday night. A rarity. That was a bonus to having a Friday night game, by the way, to watch games all day Saturday.
Yeah.
So sign me up for that. But I watched what Caleb Williams was doing, and obviously he's great. But I'm saying that's what Jordan Travis has been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every bit. It's amazing stuff. And to your point about being positive, I watched him. I don't recall exactly. It might have been late third quarter when Johnny Wilson dropped the ball. I think it would have been top right if you're watching on TV, but going into the end zone would have been a tough catch, but he should have caught it. And so he had his helmet in his hands on the bench. And Jordan came over and tapped him on the helmet, and you could see that he completely gave him a, hey, shake it off, we're going to need you later in this game kind of talk.
Yep.
And so what happens on the winning drive, Johnny goes up and makes that great catch to keep it alive, and that's just the positivity and the leadership that you see from Travis that the TV cameras may or may not have captured, but he's just been tremendous to watch.
And we had a little bit of a text exchange as I was driving back, and we got to listen to your whole podcast with you and Keith Jones, which I highly recommend. It's a great encapsulation of not only that game, but where the program is at this point. So if you're an FSU person, go ahead and pimp that podcast right now, Tom, because you and Keith are as good as it gets. You're plugged in, and you know it better than anybody. So, and just repeat.
Well, thank you. It's
go ahead.
Yeah, it's Front Row Noles. Front Row Noles. It's on Apple or whatever your podcast platform is. Front Row Noles. If you follow me on Twitter, you can, or follow at Front Row Noles on Twitter, you can see it there. But I thank you for that, JP.
Yeah, and you talked to Travis after the game. I mean, it's my sense, and this is just me being selfish, that this is a big time quarterback draft. There's a lot of good talent that's going to go into this draft. I think Travis can probably refine his throwing a little bit more, but more than that, I don't know if he's ever going to be a great NFL quarterback. He could be. I don't know. But this could be a historic season for Florida State. I think he has a legitimate chance to win the Heisman. I think FSU, given the competition around and where this thing is heading, I think FSU is an outside shot to maybe compete in the play, get into the playoff, but certainly for an ACC championship. And he has been the driving force of this resurgence. And I think it would be the perfect exclamation point to his career and his historical significance in Florida State history if he comes back. What is your sense of, will he?
Well, I agree with everything you just said. And will he? What I'm hearing now is that he's leaning more towards coming back, but I don't know if that's just, to use your word, FSU fans being selfish. We want to will him to return because we want to watch him play again. I know this. His brothers is Devin, who played baseball at FSU and then played for the Blue Jays. As good a student athlete as I've ever covered at FSU, just a first-class, genuine guy. Now, I don't know the family, but my sense is that would be the case for the family too. And they have experience with professional sports. So they will make an educated decision. They will, I'm sure they'll get the review, and whether it's the official review or Norvell is just working his contacts to say, look, this is where you'd be drafted or not drafted. And then they'll sit down and make an educated decision on it. Everything you said is true. That's all hanging out there if he comes back. He could get NIL dollars, I'm sure, which would be commensurate with what he'd get as a 7th round pick or a practice squad guy next year.
God, I hope so.
I think the only thing that maybe would be a motivator, when you look at the measurables, he's not going to be any taller next year, and he will be a year older. So does that work against him if he's, and I don't know if he's, I can't remember, I think he's 23 right now. If he's 24 next year, does that work against him any further? I don't know that it does. I mean, I think he's a late round pick this year or next. And then he's going to have to fight and prove that he's got a chance. And I wouldn't bet against him, by the way, based on what we've seen so far.
Hell no.
And
especially with
I would not bet against it's and he's undersized. And you were here when Charlie was here, and Charlie went the NBA route. But at least now the NFL offenses have evolved so much that they embrace the quarterback run, and guys that aren't 6'5" can succeed at that level. And so who knows? I wouldn't bet against him though.
Yeah, I think the NFL game has changed dramatically in the last 5 years. And I think he would fit in well. I could look at any number of, quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, who we saw last night, Russell Wilson. He reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson, who's had a pretty good career in the NFL. I think, and the intangibles are just off the freaking charts. I don't think I've ever seen a better leader and gamer than Jordan Travis. I mean, if we have a moment here, You've seen it for 4 years now. I'm sure there's things that we have not seen that you've seen and witnessed that would attest to that, his character.
Well, I think your point about the positivity. I mean, I've not seen a misstep on social media or a misstep in a press conference. I mean, it's always, and this is part of the culture that Norvell is building here.
Yeah.
It's always, it's us. It's not me. It's team. It's not the individual. And when you see this team play, and it starts with Travis, but well, I'll ask you this, JP. When's the last time that a Florida State team was better than the sum of its parts? They were this year, and it's been a long damn time since you could say that about an FSU football team.
That's a great point. And
I mean, I guess you'd say 2013, but those parts were all NFL parts.
Yes.
So I honestly don't know. Even though they beat teams 51-13 on average that year, I don't know if they were truly better than the sum of their parts that year.
Yeah, the whole damn team got drafted. You talk about overachieving. Yes. And so I think this would be a good time to look ahead. If let's just say that he does come back, is Johnny Wilson coming back? I think he better. There's a lot of players that I think they're kind of in play. What does this team look like next year? And of course, they got a great bowl game ahead of them and the 15 practices that Mike Norvell can use to continue to build this culture. So what's ahead of this team right now?
Oh, I think what's ahead is really bright. And I think if you do get one more year out of Jordan, just to kind of hold things together, even brighter. I would agree. Johnny Wilson, if he was thinking about going pro, the inconsistency that he's shown all year that reared its head the other night would be a reason for him to say, I got to come back and work on that.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Trey Benson will come back as talented as he is. And even though he's in his third year in college, he really doesn't have tread on his tires because his first 2 years he was hurt, had like 4 carries. And you saw this year in the Norvell offense, it's not like they're running him 30 times a game. So
right.
To me, he would benefit from that, but I can't make that decision for him. So I think most of the parts will be back. The one that concerns me the most on offense is actually Alex Atkins, the offensive coordinator, especially now that other jobs are opening up today, like Tulane, where he's previously been an assistant. His name will be on that list. I know he's been on the list for USF. I do think that he will be choosy. I think he's a really good coach, but we've seen with what happened with Jeff Scott at USF and even Venables, Venables waited and turned down jobs for 10 years to get an Oklahoma job. So I'm hoping, and this is again, maybe being selfish or optimistic, I hope that Atkins holds out to get a really good job and builds his resume as an offensive coordinator for a few more years at FSU. But I think they're going to be really good. And they're going to have some pieces to replace on defense because Jamie Robinson will be gone. I'm sure Fabian Lovett will leave. I would think Jared Verse will, although, he may have something to think about because Florida did a nice job on him the other night. But the one thing Norvell and the staff have proven is they can go out and get some guys in the portal to plug holes. And now they've got proof of concept from 2 years in a row now and turning this culture around. I would think that they're going to be much closer to the top of guys' lists who are transferring, and they won't necessarily have to work as hard to get guys to answer their calls or return their texts right now. So, I mean, I think the future's pretty bright.
I would agree as well. Tom Black joining us, FSU sideline reporter. What about the bowl options? What are you hearing? What do you think?
It's sounding like, or I thought all along it would be state of Florida, and I thought it was maybe Gator Bowl. But I think now with what's happened with North Carolina losing, really FSU is the second choice of all the bowls. Clemson or North Carolina. I guess I say that if Clemson wins the ACC championship game, they'll go to the Orange Bowl, and then I think FSU, as the second highest ranked team in the ACC, would go to the next bowl that gets a pick, and that is Orlando. If North Carolina wins this week, I could see that changing because North Carolina would go to the Orange Bowl, and then maybe Orlando would take Clemson, who's been, pretty good nationally, obviously, for a lot of years. But, a shorter answer is to say Orlando or Jacksonville is where I think they'll land.
That's good for FSU fans. Finally, we didn't talk a lot about the specifics of the game besides Jordan Travis being awesome. What else about that game kind of jumped out at you? What will you remember most on the field stuff, the plays?
Well, I thought Trey Benson was really good. I mean, it's interesting when I go back and watch the tape, and it's almost the same when you watch on TV. He doesn't look like he's necessarily that strong or that fast, but he just brushed 3 more guys off of him and got 25 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's gotten more and more patient. So he's really fun to watch. I think offensively for, Johnny Wilson struggled. I'll remember that some of the younger receivers, though, have really started to play well as the year's gone on. Malik McClain and Portier, I feel like the second half of the season both played well. So the receiving core next year, I mean, this year was much better than the past 3 or 4, and next year they'll be even better than this year. Defensively, Jamie Robinson's been really fun to watch. Now they didn't. I don't know if it was because they lost Akeem Dent, and I don't know if he got hurt in practice last week or when he went down, but he wasn't available, and I think that probably affected how they called that game defensively, because they wanted to leave Jamie Robinson back because you had lesser experienced safeties with him. But then after Richardson started completing passes in the first half and the second half, they changed up and they said, we got to bring pressure. And so they got Jamie closer to the line of scrimmage, which paid off, a lot of times, but it also led to some of the breakdowns, like the long ETN run when you had a backup safety that filled the wrong hole and that sort of thing. But Jamie has been really solid for 2 years, and he's not, Jared Verse, a bigger name, Jermaine Johnson last year, bigger name, but Jamie Robinson for 2 years has been really solid. He's led the team in tackles 2 straight years, and he's been a fun player to watch. Good player.
All right, Tommy, great stuff, man. Really appreciate your time as always, and we'll catch up with you when we figure out the bowl game and any big announcements coming out on Jordan. So what do you think Jordan will make his decision, by the way?
I don't know. He told me soon, but that was just a brush off. He's been working with the PR firm on that,
Yeah.
I would think this week, here's the thing about that. Signing day is right before Christmas and the portal opens soon.
Right.
So, if he was to wait 3 weeks or a month, it really affects what FSU can do and what they, and decisions other guys make. So I don't know how quickly the NFL gets official word back to Jordan. That's why I said I would think, Norvell, anybody who's got NFL contacts can do an under the radar thing and get a gauge on it.
Yeah.
I would think, I would hope in the next week or so. Because again, if he holds out to January or whatever day underclassmen have to pull their name out of the draft, by then the portal's been open a month. The early signing period's over. It doesn't really help FSU a lot if he waits that long.
Yeah, and he's, if nothing else, he puts team first and program first. So I think he'll definitely be conscious of that. No question about it. All right, Tommy, great stuff as always. Pimp your podcast and all your content one more time before you take off.
Yeah, well, on Twitter, I'm @_Tom Block, and then the podcast is Front Row Knowles, which is on all the podcast platforms. And on Twitter, you can follow that. It's @FrontRowKnowles in the Twitter sphere, as long as that's still around.
Yes. I don't think it's going anywhere. All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll catch you up soon. Thank you, Tom.
All right, see you.
Great Tom Block there. Man, that's if you're an FSU fan, listen, I think the program, if Jordan doesn't come back, which I really think he will. What are you giving up a season of being a Heisman Trophy candidate and all the press that comes along with that and being a leader of your team on an emerging, could be a magical season. It might not be. Chances are, they go maybe 9-3, 10-2, depending on injuries, but there's chances. You can't sit there and say right now, okay, Florida State can't play with Clemson. Yeah, they can. No question they can. And they're getting better. So you play with Clemson, NC State's they're losing a lot of seniors. North Carolina.
Same thing with Wake.
Yeah, there's nobody. Yeah, Wake loses a lot of guys. It's wide open. And just even to, if you come back and you win an ACC championship and you get to New York, for the Heisman, that's and your pro future is like Tom says, you're going to have to crawl and scrap and just to get a shot because the NFL is what it is. But I come back.
Yeah.
And plus with the NIL, you can make money.
Yeah, I would keep coming back. And I think, you have to I think if he loves this program, and I think he does, you understand that they are building something special, at least it appears. To go from an 0-4 start to losing to Jacksonville State, to winning 9 games. We'll see if they win a 10th here. What I believe is probably I was about to call them the best team in the ACC right now. I think that's fair to say right now, but they did play Clemson. They lost the game, but teams
2-0 in the SEC.
Yeah, they are. But teams do evolve.
If they beat an SEC team in the bowl game, they'll have more SEC wins than Florida.
Yeah, that'd be great. But no, I think teams evolve. Clemson has started. The trendward direction with the loss to South Carolina and everything. So I don't think it's out of the question to say they're the best team in the conference right now. I think they've been playing at a top 10 rate in the entire country for the past 5 weeks.
The analytics metrics.
Yeah. So when you put that together and you have the pieces, if Jordan Travis wants to come back, now Trey Benson, if he went to the NFL, I wouldn't blame him. Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot. And that was a big game last night where I saw more national people talking about him. Game Day did a little segment on him the next day. So he's out there now. He looks like he's got an NFL body. There's no doubt about that. I wouldn't be surprised if he struck while the iron's hot. But, I mean, Johnny Wilson's another one. Like, if he wants to come back, if you can somehow pull and get those 3 guys back to say, hey, we're going to build something special here. I mean, Mike Norvell just killed it in the transfer portal. If you show me a better transfer portal haul, maybe USC, that FSU has had this year, you'll be hard to find one. Yep. I think they're going to hit that again really well. And, I mean, this could be a 10-11 win team next year. Who knows? Yeah, and they just got Brock Glenn. Yep. Who's a 4-star stole him from Ohio State. They're starting to, this hasn't been happening for the last 8 years. They're taking guys from these premier programs that want to come to FSU. And I tell you what, that Friday night game was prime time. And I don't know what the ratings were. I haven't seen, but I'm guessing there was a huge number. And that FSU brand is back. Yeah. The explosive offense, the atmosphere, the spear going down, it's back. Kids love that stuff. Bobby Bowden built a dynasty on that. And I think if you're Jordan Travis, man, come on. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got to get to a little bit more on the UCF-USF game, their coaching search, more NFL yesterday. We got to talk about the rest of college football. There were some amazing games around the nation. What's the playoff look like now? So much to get to, so stay with us. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If your car was totaled or you're injured in an accident, you want the best representing you. Scott Jeeves is that man. So go to the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Also, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking for testosterone replacement therapy, losing weight, get your immune system, primary care, the best in the business. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Back at 3. Stay with us.
Time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Great time for you to do your insurance checkup at the end of the year. Homeowners insurance going through the roof, auto insurance, everything. So might as well shop it around and see if you can save a little bit of dough, right? So give them a call, 813-877-7799 over at Italiano Insurance, and just tell them JP sent you, want to do an insurance checkup. Say, this is what I'm paying for auto insurance, homeowners insurance. You know, they represent a whole bunch of different companies. So, you know, why call these 1-800 numbers and deal with one company when you can get prices from everybody? And they'll do that for you. Sometimes new companies come into the market, especially in New Year's, and they're offering lower rates, so you can jump on there and save some dough. And in this world of high inflation, anything you can keep is money you're making, right? So just give them a call at 813-877-7799. All right, we got to update this. There's news on Tristan Wirfs, right?
Yep. It looks like it's an ankle injury, and he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. So
unbelievable.
Luckily, to avoid major injury, I think that guy's just built different, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
he's a superhero.
But out 3 weeks at least. So he's going to miss this Monday against New Orleans, and then, God help us all, against San Francisco, the best defense in the NFL right now, and then Cincinnati. So 3 huge games at least that he's going to be out for the Bucs.
Yeah.
And we saw what that looked like last year in the playoffs,
It's awful.
by the
It's
way.
awful. Yeah, this coaching staff can't coach with good players.
Nope.
Coaching around bad players is not even an option.
If you stop giving a bad team life, it wouldn't have been an overtime and he wouldn't have been hurt. But
That's for damn
I'm
sure.
just saying.
That's for damn sure. And by the way, another quick thing, and I forgot to mention, there's so many disasters in this game. It's hard to, even in a 2-hour show, get them all in. Mike Evans catch down the sidelines, and I said when it happened, I was like, wait a minute, did he get his feet in there? Certainly, it's worth challenging and go look at it. And it looks like he got his feet down on that particular play.
Yes, it looks like he did here. I'm watching the replay now again, which I kind of had forgot about this play, but you can clearly see his feet are down and he has the ball and he goes to the ground with possession. Now, it was under 2 minutes for the half. So Bowles can't challenge it, but usually in those situations, you call a timeout.
Yeah.
And you kind of give the upstairs to like have more time to really go over it.
Or you make a point to the referee, because I didn't even see anybody talking to him. Mike didn't even get up and like make a protest.
No, but none of that happened. Again, what you got right here, you're actually doing it right now. You're doing the Todd Bowles special.
I am doing the Todd Bowles special.
With bend down a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
Hey, let's do a little role playing here. Did Mike catch that? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. What's the next play? That's mean. That's mean. I can't believe you made me do that. No, but come on, that's a big play. You got to, if there's a shred of hope You gotta get on the refs. Say, hey, you got to look at that. Because if you do that, if you make it a point, they're going to look at it.
Yeah,
that's part of the process. If the receiver doesn't get up and like doesn't care, if nobody's getting any body language that we need to look at that, then you're not going to get it. It's part of the gamesmanship. It's part of coaching. It's part of everything. You have to force them to look at it, and I think in the end, you can't challenge it all in the 2 minutes. You can force it. You could certainly force, and that's it. If you can force them to look at it, they're going to look at it.
Yep.
Especially in a huge situation like that. So you've got to give it an opportunity. And of course, that's another part of game management. And there have been multiple times this year where I've said, you got to challenge that situation. And Bowles hasn't challenged it because he's just not aggressive. He just doesn't think that way. He thinks he can win everything on defense, go out there and shut him down. And that's not the way the game works anymore.
No.
Sorry, that's 1965. We don't do that anymore. All right, so Tristan Wirfs, we got that out there, and that's bad. That's a disaster for this offense. Again, how do you coach around that? They don't. All right, the USA England game, which happened on Friday.
It feels like it was like a year ago that game occurred. What a weekend!
Mr. Soccer Guy, I watched it and I was like, wow. Like we're really playing with these guys.
We
really playing.
We had the chances. We had the big chances. Now, when you're playing a team like England, you've got to convert those chances. Weston McKennie right there in the middle of the box, and he just completely sells it.
Yeah.
Pulisic, I tell you what. I mean, I criticized him a little bit for his playing in the first game because I know he's much better. I thought he was a lot better in this one. And he had the one where he went right off the crossbar, and I mean, there was a slimmer of a hole there, and somehow he was able to find and get that shot off a rocket. But they were unable to convert, but they didn't allow England to do really anything. I mean, Matt Turner makes one really great save on Mason Mount late in the game, which was a harder save than it looks like, by the way. A much harder save than it looks like. But outside of that,
how many set pieces corners did we have? And I felt like, I watch these other teams and they have like 20 guys in the box. And it feels like the USA
we were not
like
attacking.
2 or 3.
It felt like they were. It felt like they were concerned. They were a little bit, apprehensive to get everybody into the box because then England can play the counter, and that's no man's land. So I think that's kind of where it was. But I thought, you were playing with them. You were the better team. I thought, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously,
I thought we coached
England
scared.
England. Yeah, I mean that's a common theme.
But also knowing that if you get the draw, you beat.
Yeah, you really can't ask for much.
Through.
This is honestly a great scenario for the fact that they, in my opinion, blew the first game against Wales.
Yep.
To have it in your control here against the Iranians, I mean, this is all you could ask for. But in that game, I thought it was a much better effort by the U.S. The midfield, those are some world-class midfielders that they were playing up against, and the trio of McKennie, Musa, and Tyler Adams, who's been the best player on the American side, the captain, 23 years old. They commanded that midfield. So that gave that. I think they should have some confidence here. But if you're Greg Berhalter, get Giovanni Reina in the game. You need some more attack up there and some quality. Just don't bring him on for 10 minutes. He deserves to play. If he's not fit enough, okay, well, he needs to play 30 minutes. He needs to play 45 minutes if you're not comfortable in playing 90.
Get a lead.
Get a lead in this game.
I mean, Iran gave up 6 goals against England.
Yes.
And we played I thought we played England straight up. So they should at least get 4 in this game.
Yeah, if they can't get a win against Iran, then
what's the point?
I don't know what to tell you.
You can't ask for a better scenario to move.
I don't know what to tell you. If you can't get a win against Iran and a must-win in the World Cup, then Greg Berhalter will he probably won't make it back home on the flight without being fired.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what you do then.
Yeah, it's a great situation. So let's go. We'll and that'll be tomorrow at 2.
That'll be tomorrow at 2.
All right. Also over the weekend, the Cowboys Giants game, which is great. Great games all over Thursday.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And 48 million people watch that game.
48 million.
Highest rated game, a regular season game in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
Wow.
Fox had a monster weekend.
Man, did they
with
ever.
The England USA game, the Michigan-Ohio State game was the most watched college football game ever, regular season as well. And then that.
And by the way,
monster.
Ohio State, you're just not good. And they're talking about firing Ryan
Not
Day.
good. I mean,
it just Michigan. They're a good football team.
Michigan won that game without Blake Corum, essentially.
Yeah.
That to me is more telling than anything.
Yeah. And I think Michigan is a little bit more, can be more. I think they can throw the ball more than they should throw the ball more. In my estimation, their quarterback can do it. I think Michigan. I think Michigan rolls Purdue, so they're into the playoff.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
into the playoff.
Yeah, we already know Georgia and LSU having a collapse against Texas A&M. I don't know what happened there. But now Georgia looks like they're probably heading to the playoff. Michigan's heading to the playoff. TCU, by the way, he talks of a letdown against Iowa State. No, we hung 55 on them.
Yeah.
And by the way, that was a top 20 defense in the entire nation. They hung 55 on them. So now they're going to go to the Big 12 title game, and it does look like they're slowing down. So there's 3 teams there. It's that 4th spot. And USC gets a big win over Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, that was a fun game to watch, too. There was so much good football over this weekend.
Yeah, and there's your Heisman winner, I think, right there. I think it's settled.
You know, it's funny what Tom said. I didn't comment on it, but I think it's true. You know, everybody's going gaga over what Caleb Williams was doing. And I'm like, Jordan Travis, did you watch that game the other night?
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing. But I get it. USC.
He was the big 5-star. It's USC.
Yeah. JJ McCarthy was good too. I think Ohio State's just has been overrated all year long.
They have that. There's something off. They have all the pieces there on offense, especially, and even something was off about them this year.
It's interesting. As a really good friend of mine who goes to the game is a big Ohio State fan, and he's got all this insiders, big booster. He sends me this insider stuff that he's like, you cannot talk about this on it. And I'll just say, encapsulating it is, I think there's a lot of people that are in the know in Ohio State that just feel like, CJ Stroud is a little bit of a prima donna. And a lot of these guys are just, they're more flash than they are substance. Like there have been Ohio State teams that are much tougher, much more.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is kind of, they've kind of gone into that realm where they're not getting the foundational badass offensive linemen, defensive players that were just badass mofo. Again, they're starting to get a little bit of the 17 armband guys and losing a little bit of the substance that they really need to compete with a Michigan.
And maybe that's a Ryan Day thing. I mean,
it's a
and
Ryan
by the
Day
way,
thing.
a lot
I
of
think it's
people,
a Ryan Day thing.
a lot of Ohio State people are not happy with Ryan Day. He might
There's
win
a toughness that is not.
He might win 11 games, 12 games regular season, but they've lost a lot of big games in his tenure there.
They've been embarrassed by Michigan 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and they were embarrassed in the championship game against Alabama. They've been embarrassed in the semifinal against Clemson, I think it was, in 2019.
They're getting pushed around. And their toughness is something that is lacking.
The first sign of that was against Northwestern in crappy weather.
Yes.
And they needed to run the football and be tough, and they weren't.
So the football playoff projections right now, the Fiesta Bowl, Michigan versus TCU, the Horned Frogs and what's their quarterback's name? It's just
Max Duggan.
I was talking about him a few weeks ago when I saw him play for a whole game. That dude can play.
Yes, he can.
He can sling it. He is a professional quarterback. He's as good a thrower of the football as I've seen in college football in a long time. He's Joe Burrow-esque, I think. I think he throws it that well, that accurate.
Was he even the starter when the season started?
I know.
When the season began.
Yeah, it's kind of weird sometimes. I don't know what these coaches are looking at. Georgia USC in the Peach Bowl, the other semifinal. Boy, I like the game. I like that
matchup.
Williams, yeah, it's kind of like the LA Flash against the Southern, Southern SEC. That's a branding matchup right there for the ages. I'm all in on that.
Yeah,
I'm all in on that.
Let's hope USC can take care of business, please.
So yeah, I think
and that would keep Bama out of the playoff. By the way, who's trying to backdoor? If USC loses, Bama's backdooring their way right in there. Who's going in? Somebody's got to go in.
Yeah,
they're gonna have two. If USC loses their Pac-12 title game, they're gonna have two losses. Who USC?
Yeah.
Well, Oregon just screwed it, so they got to play Utah again. Utah's the only team that beat them. So that's not going to be easy for USC.
And that was at Utah?
It was at Utah.
Okay.
So, again, if USC loses, Bama's backdooring their way right in. And everybody's going to have a meltdown over it. And you're going to have Alabama, Georgia again. You watch.
It's eluding me now. The SEC championship game is Georgia and LSU.
Yeah.
So LSU's still in. That's
LSU's still in because the SEC West is kind of no bueno.
Shouldn't FSU get that?
You might as well.
Yeah.
You might as well. Why is LSU still ranked to get ahead of FSU when they have the same record? And I watched that game, by the way.
I don't know. Yeah, because Florida State dominated that game.
I don't know.
Not for some very bad game management by Mike Norvell. That's a 3-score win. But anyway, national championship, they're projecting Georgia versus Michigan. That's a not so fast, my friend, with TCU. But, yeah, I think that's pretty. And I don't think, USC and Georgia, I don't know. USC's defense is still kind of.
I still ain't buying it.
I don't
really
see
not.
anybody tackling either one of those Georgia tight ends.
Like, yeah, the path to victory for Georgia seems a lot more clear in a game like that than it does for USC. But again, like I said, USC is going to have their hands full in the Pac-12 title game.
Next week after the championship games, we're going to draw up a 12-team playoff. It's going to look really good.
This year would look amazing.
Yeah, it's going to look really, really good. Because, I think there's some teams down the road that are starting to play very well, Florida State, that, might just survive. They wouldn't win a national championship. That's not what I'm saying. They wouldn't win like 3 games. I guess you'd have to win. No, and it would never happen. But, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch. It'd be fun. No question about it. Where they would go, who they would play, I don't know, but it would be fun. I think that's pretty solid. And of course, yesterday in the NFL, what did we really learn about these teams? I think
any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Just upset Central.
Yeah. The 49er defense is just ridiculous. They're really good. The Raiders and Josh Jacobs, 303 yards of total. That's the biggest game, I think, since Antonio Brown in 2015.
Yep.
Yards from scrimmage. How about USF quarterback Mike White?
Mike White,
the White Knight, as they call him in the New York Post. 3 touchdown passes. The Jets are for real. Coaching matters in this league.
The Jets are winning games in the NFL with Mike White, Joe Flacco, and Zach Wilson.
Threw 3 touchdown passes yesterday, and Tom Brady threw 2.
And they got a defensive head coach, for crying out loud. Look, starting running back goes down. 2 disgruntled receivers. Your top receiver's a rookie. Tyler Conklin. Are you freaking kidding me? How are the Jets have 7 wins?
Because coaching matters. Can we trade Bowles back to the Jets?
Holy man. Yes, please.
I tell you what, I said this. I loved Robert Saleh since the time I saw him come in here with that 49ers team in the opener, 2019 season, 2020 season. Anyway, I love that guy. He's a leader of men. He's a leader of men. And that's what you do. You bench your star quarterback.
Yeah, I don't give a crap that you were the second overall pick.
I don't give a rat's ass.
No.
You
can't play.
Todd Bowles would never do that.
Yeah.
Never do that. And it's what it takes to win in this league, folks. You can't be everybody's best buddy.
Yep.
Doesn't work that way. All right, good job from you. Our thanks to Tom Block for joining us today. If you missed the Bucs discussion off the top, it was epic. You got to go watch it. So check it out. You can always go back and watch it on YouTube, watch it on Twitter, watch it on Facebook. FanStreamSports.com is our website. You can go there. The link is there. Instagram link, and just Google the JP Peterson Show. You're going to get it. We'll be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Have a great day, everybody.